take a look at these pictures and tell me how they make you feel. At the dentist, at the airport, and during an end-of-year exam. How do they make you feel? Any hands? All of you, I guess. I don't know who to choose. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. What about these pictures? This one. This one. And finally, this one. This one. How do you feel? What is your current emotion right now? Any hands? Okay, all of you, I guess, still. Yeah, I know. You probably feel relaxed, less stressed, and happier. Animals have this effect on people. Okay, welcome to my Masterworks. My name is Nicholas Strachan, and my presentation is called Therapy Animals, the experience behind my journey. Before I... Okay. Before I get started, I want to dedicate this presentation to two special animals. Meet Obi, my personal partner in crime. We got Obi as a puppy, and he's a purebred beagle. To put this in context, he's nothing but beagle for hundreds of generations, I would say. This might make him a little bit crazier. The reason I started this project in the first place was because I love dogs. And Obi provided a lot of emotional support in my life, because I had him from a puppy, and I had a very strong bond with him. A lot of you will recognize this dog, Luna, a Siberian Husky, mascot for the school, and Pamela's dog. And every day in grade 7, I would sit next to Luna and pet her during my breaks. This made me feel nice knowing that every day there was a pet waiting for me at school. Luna would provide me with a lot of emotional support during my time at IPS. What are therapy animals? Definitely not a snake. Well, actually, a snake could be a therapy animal for someone who's extremely cold-hearted, but I don't know. There are a lot of therapy animals that roam around everywhere, even on Bowen. But don't get them confused with service animals, because they're not the same thing. A service animal has a very different job than a therapy animal. A service animal is an animal that's officially trained to work or perform tasks with people with disabilities, I would say. This is different from a therapy animal, whose main purpose is to make a person feel better. They don't specifically do any work. The goal of animal-assisted therapy is to relieve stress and help people cope with some symptoms of various conditions. The most commonly used types of animal-assisted therapy are canine-assisted therapy and equine-assisted therapy. Okay, animal therapy builds on a concept called the human-animal bond, which describes people's desire to interact with and relate to animals. They're used with patients in recovery, people with intellectual disabilities, seniors living with Alzheimer's, students, veterans with PTSD, people who have experienced crisis events, and those approaching the end of life, sadly. The history of therapy animals is originated mostly from victims of PTSD, such as veterans and people with other mental disabilities and challenges, I would say. People who experience anxiety on a day-to-day basis, too. Animal-assisted therapy was used to help people in care settings relieve stress and feel better. Medical studies have proven that being with animals is extremely helpful. That was the history of therapy animals, but today, therapy animals are used in many different settings to help people manage daily stress, such as airports, schools, universities, and dentist offices. They even come into actual offices for employee appreciation days. People also have therapy animals in daily situations to support them. Dealing with depression or anxiety at school, work, or in relationships are examples of everyday stress that a therapy animal can help with. Another example is when people with stress or anxiety have moved out of their parents' house or something, and have no family to keep them company, I would say. And dogs or cats could be a good source of company to cope with being alone most of the time. But however, if I were lying dead on my floor, my cats would literally eat my dead corpse. But my dog would sit next to me forever. In this case, dogs are the better option for the sole reason of loyalty. These animals can provide therapy, but they aren't necessarily certified therapy animals. In order to be officially classified as a therapy animal, they have to receive some training and have very good temperament. There are many different types of therapy animals. The most common ones are dogs. The first time dogs were officially used for therapy was in the late 1800s. Florence Nightingale used therapy dogs with patients in hospitals. Prior to this, in 1792, animals were used in Quaker retreats in York, England. They used rabbits and chickens for informal therapy. There are many types of therapy animals, such as rabbits, goats, and horses, but dogs are the most popular. There are many types of therapy pets. The one we most commonly think about is dogs. I chose this picture because it reminds me of the loyalty my dog Obi came with. To be more specific, golden retrievers are the most common breed of dog to be trained by professional trainers. Golden retrievers are the superior choice for a therapy dog because they have the lowest stress and anxiety levels of most dogs and offer a lot of playfulness. If you were to train a therapy dog, it would need to be at least a year old. It would need to be up to date on vaccinations. It would need to be monitored by a tester during a specified number of visits to facilities. They typically get matched up to people with specified needs. These dogs become individual therapy dogs. But there are also dogs that work with many people. They are part of a visiting team that goes around to places such as doctor's offices, nursing homes, schools, hospitals, and airports. Medical studies have confirmed that we all know from experience, spending time with an affectionate pet makes us feel so much better. When you think about goats, you would usually think they're just farm animals. Actually, they're the GoPro destroyers. Why, you may ask? Personal experience is the thing. However, goats can be used as social and emotional therapy animals. Goat training often starts when goats are babies, and the most important part of the training is affection. Goats are a good therapy animal for a variety of reasons. They're easily trained, highly sociable, non-violent, and very entertaining. Therapy goats are a mix between farm and hospital, between agricultural roots and medical care. Goats are good at bonding with humans. Goats are not easily stressed by human contact, so they provide a very non-threatening presence for humans who need extra support. They can also provide distraction. They'll literally eat anything and are very curious. Okay, there's a popular trend today of goat yoga. People do yoga with baby goats sitting next to them on the mat or otherwise. Horses are another type of therapy animal, which is referred to as equine therapy. Humans have a long history with horses. They have been involved together since at least 2000 BCE. Humans and horses have a really, really, really good relationship. Most horses can sense fear and pain in humans, making them the ideal animal for helping humans express their emotions. Horses have highly developed senses. Because they're prey animals, they must be ready to fight or flight at any moment. Equine therapy started in the 1940s and 50s in Scandinavia. A rider who had paralyzed legs from polio was able to win a medal in dressage at the Olympics. The benefits of horseback riding for people with disabilities were recognized as great for recreation and therapy. They began using equine therapy in the United States around the 1960s and have used it ever since. Currently, there are over 50,000 registered therapy dogs in the U.S. Animal-assisted therapy is a recognized form of support that is gaining popularity for many different people in many different circumstances. Even if you're not working with a certified therapy animal, there are many benefits to owning a pet that have been well documented over the years. Having a pet improves your mental health tenfold. During the pandemic, according to the Zebra, almost 20% of households acquired a pet. As you can see in this pie chart, almost 50% of people in a 1,500-person survey believe that owning a pet would improve their mental health a lot. Just out of curiosity, how many of you have a pet? A lot. Okay, how does your pet make you feel? Yeah. Okay, enough about the theory and research. Now I'm going to talk about what I did. I wrote a research paper about therapy animals. I wrote a process journal documenting all of my experiences. And I conducted 4 interviews. You guessed it, about goats, dogs, and horses. The interview process was my favorite part of the Masterworks. And I would just like to talk to you about the interviews and share my experiences with you. First, I will share the highlights from the 2 dog interviews that I did. On February 3rd, I interviewed Maurice and her dog Layla. Maurice is a volunteer at Companion Paws, and they adopted her dog Layla through the therapy dog adoption program. And the lifeline. Layla is 3.5 years old, and she was rescued from Mexico. She's 12. She's a small dog, 12 pounds. Oh my God, weird. A mix of Havanese, Poodle, Bichon Frise, small and white with curly hair. There was a language barrier when they got her coming from Mexico. She only understood Spanish words when Marie said them. She wasn't too traumatized by living on the streets, but she did unfortunately damage her intestines by eating stuff off the street and now has stomach problems. They are careful what they feed her. Layla is only partially certified and is still in training. She still reacts to some loud noises and needs further exposure to different settings. She's very affectionate. She goes in on at least one walk per day. She likes to get treats out of her dog puzzle thingy. She likes to go on... Okay, sorry. She can do tricks like standing on her paws, whatnot. Layla does not chase any toys if thrown, and does not like water, which is very surprising. Eventually, Layla and Maurice will be visiting a therapy dog team. But in the meantime, Layla is providing support for a family member with ADHD and anxiety. Okay, on May 3rd, I had the pleasure of interviewing Kathy and Cooper from Pets and Friends. They came to IPS, I interviewed them, then we visited the grade 6s and had a question and answer period grade 6s. And, hold up. So they also spent lunch outside with the whole school. Cooper turned 9 years old on March 20th. Kathy has had him since she was 7 months old. Kathy has had 5 golden retrievers, and Cooper is the first actual therapy dog that she has had. Kathy had another golden retriever named Jinx. Cooper and Jinx were best friends who never spent a night apart, but tragically Jinx passed away last summer. Cooper and Kathy were devastated and needed something to distract themselves. Kathy looked online for volunteering opportunities and found Pets and Friends. Fast forward to the interview and the training process, and Cooper was certified and has first visit to a care home, in November of 2022. Cooper is calm, overweight, prefers human contact to dogs. Gets along with people really, really well, and is very gentle with seniors. Currently, Cooper's schedule includes visiting a regular senior center every Monday, visiting schools like ours, and attending employee events at hospitals. Kathy and Cooper are in big demand. There are over 80 care homes in the Lower Mainland that would like a pet therapy visit, not including all the hospitals and employee events too. Dogs make a big difference to people in those settings. I asked Kathy about a time when she felt Cooper was especially beneficial, and she spoke about a Canucks Autism Network event. There were 7 pet therapy teams attending, and there were many different students on the autism spectrum. It was hectic and really challenging for everyone. Cooper was with the older kids, and one young man who was 17 walked around in the center of the circle of dogs and didn't say anything. He kept a distance and looked at all the dogs carefully. At the end of the 40 minutes, he came over to Cooper, hugged him, put his head on Cooper's head, left, and never said a word. Kathy was very emotionally affected by this event. Now I will speak about horses. On April 1st, I had the interview of interviewing Ellen White of President Moen's Equine Facilitated Learning. Ellen may look familiar to many of you because she's a parent of alumni students from IPS, her 2 daughters, Lucy and Isabel, both attended IPS. Ellen also used to live on Bowen for many years and was heavily involved with equine therapy locally. In May of 2022, Ellen moved to Roberts Creek to open her own facility, which consists of 5 acres, 5 horses, and many more animals. Ellen is a certified life coach and an equine therapy coach. Ellen started riding at 7 years old. She worked as an event groom and a riding instructor in England. She took a 20-year break and started working on Enswell Farm on Bowen with Miss Max horses. She realized this is really how she wanted to spend her time. Ellen knows a lot about horses and told me some very interesting things that I had no idea about. For example, horses are sentient beings that live in the moment. They're prey animals, so they go into fight or flight immediately. They can teach us how to regulate our emotions and horses go from the heart. They listen to other animals' heartbeat from 5 to 7 feet away. When you approach a horse, they can hear your heart rate and breathing, and know how you feel from 7 feet away. No wonder horses are so scared around me. People think that equine therapy means riding horses, but there is so much work to be done, physically and emotionally, before you even consider getting on a horse. When approaching a horse, you must learn to regulate your breathing and emotions in order to not scare them. Horses hold up a mirror to how you are feeling, and they show it back to you. During a session with Ellen, a student would start on the ground, first building the relationship face-to-face with the horse, and using grooming to work on sensory feelings. Students work up to leading a horse through obstacle courses while monitoring their energy levels. All this work reflects back to everyday feelings, working on courage, increasing or decreasing their energy in order to work with different animals. Equine therapy can help people who need to understand body language, work on sensory issues, and increase muscle strength. I asked Ellen if she had a favorite horse, and she spoke about 3 horses that are particularly special. Rumor is her heart horse, I would say, and they're a horse from Enswell Farm, and one that she'll always remember. Henry is very young and will have followed Ellen for the rest of his life, and one that she'll always remember. Cassiopeia came very, okay, so this is the thing for Henry. It's still very playful and supports kids with ADHD. Cassiopeia came very damaged and has come on a long journey together with Ellen. She's coming to heat with an older horse, and she will breed with Chicago and then have a foal next April, 11 months pregnancy, pretty much. Chicago has a very nice temperament. This will be Ellen's first foal. She's very excited and also very scared. I could see why. The horse is very maternal and steps up to other women that have been through other trauma. I've learned so much about horses from Ellen. I will never forget the information and have a new appreciation for how intuitive horses are. Now I will speak about the goats. On January 24th, I interviewed Adrian, Christina, Pickles, and Peanut, and Noam came along for the ride. Noam, where are you? I don't know where you... Noam! Okay, so you may be wondering what the goats are like. Meet Pickles and Peanut, 2 French alpine goats living on Bone Island with their owners, Adrian and Christina. So I asked Adrian what Pickles and Peanut are like. Adrian told Noam and I that the goats have a very strong mutual relationship, knowing that they've been brothers since they were born. From what I've seen, Peanut has more of an eager personality than Pickles and just wanted to headbutt Noam's tripod a couple thousand times. Pickles, on the other hand, had a quite calm and collected personality. Thank you, Pickles. The goats like to climb up hills and eat, or they sleep. They also had a habit where they would headbutt Adrian, as I'm guessing as a sign of dominance. I don't know. What do the goats do with the Airbnb? Well, apparently, walking with Peanut and Pickles is one of the most popular Airbnb activities you can do on Bowen. Adrian and Christina apparently started the Airbnb goat walking as just a little money-making method, but turned into a passion and some of a career. Christina said that there are people with mental health difficulties that will come and try the goat walking. Then the overwhelming response afterwards is that they feel very joyful and happy. Adrian told me the goats have very low stress levels and rarely get mad. Is that true, Adrian? Yeah. Okay. People come to walk the goats to experience nature in a new way, connect with their family, or have a unique activity, such as a bachelorette party. Okay, I would just like to show you a short clip of Peanut and Pickles in action.
Companions. For people and for horses.
Nice.
And so they're
very low stress.
Yeah, they're low stress animals, except they really are food motivated, as you can tell.
Yeah.
And obviously loving Noam's tripod.
Peanut,
okay, sorry, chill out.
Yes, this is my tripod.
Okay.
Not yours.
Okay, your head is.
Peanut, okay. Peanut, come on, look, it's a treat.
Scoot,
Look,
Peanut.
it's a treat.
Pickles. Okay, go. All right. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, what? I'm pretty sure like I already like answered this because like when I met these two. But like, what kinds of personalities do Pickles and Peanut have? Like,
well, it kind of changes a bit. Peanut's now decided he's going to be a photographer.
Peanut's
Peanut's the more food. Well, I guess they're both equally food motivated. Peanut can be a little bit protective of his food.
No.
More so than Pickles.
Peanut,
come on.
Scooch.
Come here. Look.
Scooch
Peanut.
Magooch. Alright.
Adrian calls him the grumpy old man because he kind of does these like low headbutts. Whereas Pickles is definitely the more mischievous, playful one. He's the one that'll find a new way to escape out of the pen if he gets bored.
Okay.
And he doesn't go anywhere. He just wants to hang out on the other side of the fence.
Alright.
So they're both very friendly. He's more rambunctious. I'd say he catches on to things a little bit more quick.
That's Pickles is the more
Pickles.
rambunctious one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peanut is wants to be included.
Pickles is he's a little more athletic.
Okay, Pickles.
Uh,
Your slap.
Okay.
Okay, Scooch.
Dude.
No.
Peanut, Pickles, come on.
Okay, Pickles
As
is
you
like.
could tell, they're both a little mischievous.
Okay, no one turn the camera. Okay. Alright, so I'm at the end of my presentation right now, and I just want to summarize a few big takeaways. 1, dogs are amazing. 2, goat or horses have emotional superpowers. They're telepathically emotional. 3, goats will eat anything and will eventually take over the world. 4, therapy animals are the best things I've ever researched. And 5, everyone out there should go home and treat their pets tonight like royalty. Of course, I couldn't have done this without a few animals and people. I would just like to thank Maurice and Layla, Kathy and Cooper, Christina, Adrian, Pickles and Peanut, Ellen White and her horses. I would also like to thank Jennifer Henriksen for a hard year of dedicated support, and Amanda Zabo for putting up with all my shenanigans over the years. I'd also like to thank my family for supporting me and always having some sort of pet in the house. Okay, I would just like to thank my Aunt Catherine Strachan, my Auntie Kathy, who was my external advisor and a volunteer at Lifeline Canada. She helped me with so much of this project. And lastly, I would like to thank you, the students of IPS. Questions, comments?
So relieved, I'm sure you are. And we're going to have some questions now coming from your advisors, your faculty advisor, and hopefully also your external advisor.
Awesome. Thank you, Mrs. Strachan. That was fantastic. I think the love of animals that you have and the joy that they spread to the world was so evident in that presentation, as was so much of the work that you did this year, and I would say incredible personal growth. This has been a great project. Kathy, your aunt and external advisor, is unable to be here today. She lives in the Okanagan and is traveling, so she sent me a question to ask for you. Thank you, Nick, for involving me in your project. I've learned a lot about the various types of therapy animals from you and have enjoyed the experience. In my experience, lots of people want to certify their dogs for therapy, but not all dogs or people are suitable for this. When you have a dog in the future, which I'm sure you will, would you consider certifying the dog for therapy purposes? And what are 1 or 2 factors you think are the most important before making the decision?
First of all, if I were to certify it, it would need to be super, super calm. It would need to. You've seen what Obi can do, my mother. You can see what he can do. You've seen that. So he needs like a lot of attention. So I feel like a dog that like, if it's more like on the what was it? Yeah, if it's more on the calm side, I would happily adopt it, and I would happily certify it. Like, And if it were just like, if it were affectionate and calm, I would totally do it. I would totally certify it.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, and my question is, I think the fun parts of this project came out in your presentation. What were the hardest parts of the project?
I'm gonna be honest, there were no hardest parts. It was all just like, it was all like mixed out into like, it was all like spread out into like even bits in my presentation. Like, of course there would be like a few ups and downs every now and then, but like.
So if you think about like the interviews, the paper, the process journal, what part did you find that was maybe the most challenging?
I don't know, because honestly, like, I feel like the process journal, I feel like that was the easiest part, first of all, but the interviews, that was hard, but like it was fun to try and do it. Like the meetings that like you organized, and like it was good. It was very good. Yes.
All right, thank you. So good. Yeah.
It seems like I know how much you were anticipating your presentation, and I thought that might be the hardest thing, but I actually think you enjoyed yourself. Little? Mr. Strachan, that was an amazing presentation. I think you chose really, really well, with a passion, with something where you could interact with people and with animals. And your enthusiasm showed all the way through. So thank you for really enlightening us on this topic. And also, there's going to be a lot more questions about how this actually works, because it's an intriguing thing that we do. Maybe we think naturally, but I think there's a lot more to it. So, Mrs. De Bacarina, come on.
All right. Good job, Mr. Strachan. If you had to pick an animal to be your therapy dog that wasn't a therapy animal that wasn't your dog or cat or horse or goat, what animal would you pick?
Rabbit.
A rabbit?
No?
Nice.
Okay. You mentioned, sorry, first, incredible presentation, Mr. Strachan. Second of all, you mentioned how your cat would eat your corpse.
Yes.
Can I trust my absurdly obese chappy cat?
No. You really can't. You really can't.
Go ahead, Harvey.
Very good job, Mr. Mr. Strachan. I was wondering, what about the therapy the animals provide? What do you think really enhances the situation compared to just getting a normal therapist?
I don't know, because like having an actual animal like with like it's basically like a portable therapist that you can bring around with you. Yeah, so it's yeah.
Mr. Beckys.
Excellent presentation, Mr. Strachan. Would you recommend different therapy animals for people with different personalities?
Yes, but then also no, because like it's like a mixed situation. I don't like there's like I don't know what that question, because like it can be complicated sometimes with therapy animals, which I've like seen, and so I don't know. It's a mixed situation in my mind.
Mr. Strachan, do you think that for like equine therapy with horses, do you think that a certain thing like ADHD or anxiety, do you think that's better suited to horses?
Well, no, I feel like that'd be better suited to dogs, because with horses it would be like you would need to be like extremely calm, and like with the ADHD part of you, I would say it would probably frighten the horse at some point. And with a dog, they can easily like temper with that. Like.
And what kind of person is best suited for a goat?
Someone who's, I don't know. Adrian, where are you?
Tammy, come on up.
Hi.
Sorry, Mr. Strachan, thank you very much for this. I learned a lot, and in my line of work, I'm going to pass on some of that information, so thank you.
Okay.
Is there in existence that you know of a survey or like a quiz that someone could take to kind of lean them toward a specific kind of animal?
There have been like I have encountered multiple things online that have like, if you just search up like therapy animal quiz or something, it should come up. But like, if I've like encountered a few, but I haven't like actually tried testing them. So.
Do you think that it's possible that one day maybe you could write one that would be official?
Most
no
likely.
Pressure, but do you think that would be useful?
Yes, I feel like it would be very useful.
Able to fill out a questionnaire and then start their search.
Yeah.
There's the organizations that we went to.
Yes.
Patient contact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like remember where Kathy works or where?
Yeah, like Lifeline.
Yeah. So
where does your aunt work?
My aunt works. I totally forget right now. It's on my script. Sorry.
She works at Lifeline Canada.
Yeah, Lifeline Canada.
Yeah. Mr. Lee, come on up.
Fantastic presentation, Mr. Strachan. It's really entertaining watching like the animals and you present. My question for you is, out of all the animals you've worked with, which one's your favorite? And if you were to work with like another animal that is not commonly used as a therapy animal, what would it be?
First answer for that question, dogs. And second answer, chickens.
Sheila, come on up.
Mr. Strachan, I have to say, I've known you for a year, and this is the first time I've seen you radiate so much positive energy and enthusiasm. So, I have two questions.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier that the Labrador, I think you said, were the dogs that have the lowest...
Golden retrievers.
Golden retriever, thank you for correcting me. They have lower...
Lowest stress and anxiety levels, yes.
But doing the work that they do over time, is there research that shows how that affects them?
I think there have...
Surrounded by all
I think, okay, so whilst I was doing my research, I have found multiple sources where that was a thing where they like tested like how much like they gave someone like a therapy dog, like basically a golden retriever, and they used that golden retriever for like a solid 30 days because they had like massive anxiety issues, right? So they used that for like a solid like 30 days or so, and basically the results came out to be like this dude's like anxiety has just like, there's still a little bit in him, but it's like gone pretty much. Like, yeah.
And then my second question was, if you had more time, what part of your master's works would you have added more of?
Process journal.
Yeah.
Mr. Saru?
That's true.
That was a wonderful presentation, Mr. Strachan. Early on, you mentioned that first therapy animals were used for soldiers with PTSD. What do you think about animals helps with PTSD symptoms?
Well, first of all, animals like so it's like an unexplainable like force, like of like habit that they have, like that they can just like they can sense how you're feeling, and I don't know how to explain it, but like it's like an aura of like whatever, like you just want it to be, and like basically they just make it like 10 times better whilst doing it. So it's pretty much unexplainable, but.
Mr. Storr?
That was an absolutely remarkable presentation. My one question was, how long does it take for animals usually to be certified?
I'm actually unsure of that currently, but I may have stated that in my presentation. I don't know.
I think Layla was about a year.
Yeah, like probably a year maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Okay.
Mr. Lee?
My question, great presentation, Mr. Strachan. Would you say, you think there could be an opportunity for therapy humans for dogs with PTSD?
No chance. I'm sorry, there's no chance. Would are above humans. Me and my dad always like to debate this. Dogs are always above humans.
Would you engage in a debate on whether or not dogs are actually better than?
I'm not good at debates, so I can't promise that.
Mr. Strachan, I really appreciate the work that you've done around this and that you dedicated it to Luna just warmed my heart. And I remember you in grade 7 waiting at the top of the stairs for Luna to come. And on days I didn't bring her, I'd get in big trouble from you. You'd say, "Where's Luna?" And I know that she was a big part of your experience here. There's also some schools have a hard time bringing in dogs because kids might have allergies or certain children might sometimes be afraid of dogs. Do you have any advice for a school around how to incorporate? I mean, it sounds like you would believe that it's worth it. What would your advice be to make it work?
To make it work, like, you need to have like a really good temporal environment with it, because with a dog you need to have you need to have its basic necessities, and if you were to have that, maybe you could have a dog, but you'd first need to train it. First of all, you need to multiple other things, but there's still a lot of work to be done. If you're getting just a raw dog,
Right. So to go through that therapy training and be certified.
Yeah.
Would be. That's great. Thank you.
Amazing presentation, Mr. Strachan. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you right now. My heart is overflowing.
Yeah.
But my question is there anything at all that you enjoy about our cats?
One answer: no.
Dog versus cat war, which is unhealthy.
I am extremely biased.
You might be, but there's a lot of cat lovers in this world and in this room. Can I have any more questions from the floor? Go ahead, Mr. Saru.
No, that was raising my hand. That was raising my hand. I'm sorry. I do have a question, actually. This may have already been asked. But is there any type of animal that is not used for therapy at all that you think would make it?
Well, I previously stated that there are snakes.
Right.
There's snakes, and then there's also lizards maybe, but I don't know, any reptilian-ish type of thing. I don't know.
I've actually seen a lot of people with lizards that find that actually very common. And I know that at a camp that I went to, there was a very large fox snake, the length of this table, that we found it every year. It's it almost wanted to be found. It would come down to the main dock when all the kids arrived for camp, and it lived in the wild, and it would come and we would wrap it around our necks, put it in our sweaters, and that snake would go to the dining hall, go to activities with the kids, they would trade it around. So I don't actually agree with you in your therapy snake.
I don't know. My grandma, she saw a snake on a bus that she went on, and she was terrified.
For sure. I think you have to want to be with a snake, but snakes I think have some of the same qualities. Not spiders. Some snakes.
Yeah, some snakes. I feel like garter snakes do it.
Okay. Nuala, go ahead.
So, my amazing brother, why do you have no respect for cats?
I just don't like cats, honestly.